Hello and welcome in the second video on Visual Basic Programming in Console. In the first part, we covered the introduction, we covered variables, constants, and data types, input and output, and adding comments. In the second part, we will continue with calculations, selection, and iteration. So this is a quick recap of what we covered last time. That is, the aim is to run a program in console. You need to know how to declare variables. You need to know what are the different data types available in Visual Basic, how to output something to the user, and then how to capture the input from the user. And finally, in order to well document your code, how we write comments. Today, we will continue with calculations. Okay, so very often you will need to do calculations in your program. For example, write a Visual Basic program to calculate the sum and product of two numbers. Make use of the following operators. For example, you can use the exponential, negation, multiplication, division, integer division, mod, addition, and subtraction, which is the basic. Okay, so quickly, let us open our Visual Basic, our Visual Studio. So I click on, let's get the, so I create a new project, console application, and then I give it a name like so now Visual Studio is opened. It's here. Now let us do a Visual Basic program where calculations are done as part of the program. Okay, so let us get started. Let us add some comments. This is our main. Let me just delete that. Let me get started by declaring the variables. After asking for the first number, I ask for the second number, and then I calculate the sum. And then I output the results. Here you go. This is the program. Zero errors found. I click on Control S to save the program, and then I run the project. And the number one, like 3. The sum is 4, and the product is 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, now moving on, let me show you about the operators. Okay, so in the previous slide, we had seen that there are different operators, and let us get started to use these different operators. For example, I can declare if you want to do the cube, you can use the exponent. Other examples are so integer division returns the quotient, that is the integer that represents the number of times the divisor can divide into the dividend without consideration of any remainder. Okay, let us continue with other type of operators. Let us declare the x. That is, what happens when you use the mod operator is that the operator returns the remainder after dividing the divisor into the dividend. Okay, so you will get the remainder. Now, moving on, let us continue with a very important part of Visual Basic Programming, which is selection. Okay, with the selection structure, only some statements are executed if a condition has been met. A comparison operator compares operands and returns a logical value based on whether the comparison is true or not. These are the different operators that we can use. Is equal to, is not, or is not equal to, or in other words, we also call it different from, less than, greater than, greater or equal to, less than or equal to. We also have other operators called logical operators, where we compare Boolean expressions and return either true or false. Not, and, or. These are the three operators that you will use the most. Now let us get started with the if-then statement. In Visual Basic Programming, you will write statements to check whether the condition is true. That is, if condition is true, then do specific statements. Let us have a look at this in Visual Basic. So I save this program and then I the module. So if the student scores more than 50 marks, then the student has passed. Well, I think it's mostly more than, I think it's 40. Okay. If the student has scored more than 40 marks, then you have passed. So that is end the program with a console. Okay. So please write this program in your computer and run it in order to see whether it is working fine. This is the if-then statement. Now, moving on, save it. We also have the if-then-else statement. And for this, let us again go and modify the program that we have written. Okay, so here it is an if statement. Okay, if grade is greater than 40, then you have pass. With the else the other, if the grade is less than 40, then we will execute the line of code, which is, we will say that, so that line have failed, unfortunately. Okay, so this is very simple if then else statement, which you need to know because you will use a lot when you will be doing programming. That is, if the condition is true, then execute the statements, else execute the other block of statements. We have another which is called nested if. Nested if statement helps to check multiple number of conditions. A nested if statement has an if statement inside of an if statement. So let me show you how it works. Okay, again on Visual Basic. Again, please enter your grade. We get the grade. Now I will modify this code, the if then statement, I will just modify it. So I'm just commenting this code and I'm writing if grade 80 else. Now nested if is if statement inside an if statement. So I am writing an if statement inside of this if statement. If and if and if and if. Okay, so this is a nested if statement. Let me run it. Oops. Okay. Grade I scored very poor grade, so I got grade U. Okay, so it went and checked the different if statements and find out that finally the student scored grade U. So this is the console application for when you're using nested if statement. Okay, next we have if else if statement. The if else if helps to test multiple mutually exclusive conditions. So instead of writing the nested if, you could have written something like this. If grade greater than 80, then here you could have written else if let's see else so here it is the same logic, but it is much more simpler than nested if with else if statement. Okay. Again, it's the same result. So moving on, let us now start with the select case in Visual Basic.